It's common to hear about people who've made their fortune in real estate, but how exactly can you become a millionaire buying property? In this video, we'll take a look at how real estate can make you millions. The basic principle of making money through real estate is this. You buy a property, preferably for less than what it's assessed to be worth. In most but not all cases, you generate cash income from that property, enough to cover expenses and give you some cash flow, usually through rent of some form. You do maintenance and make improvements so the property appreciates at or above the rate of the market, and either you continue to hold equity in and make passive income from that property over time, or you sell the property at a profit. Boom, money. But in the real world, it's not always that easy. It's important to note that not everyone who buys property becomes a millionaire. Not even close. That said, while there are no guarantees in life, there are a few things you can do to set yourself up for success, and a few things you can do along the way to push yourself toward millionairehood faster than might happen organically if you simply stay the course with your original purchase. This is a good place to mention, by the way, that this video by no means constitutes legal advice, and the content you'll see here is a matter of opinion. Different things will work for different people and situations. You should do your research and speak with your advisors before making any big financial decisions. First, let's talk about getting started. Here are the basic steps, which will be explained in greater detail in just a minute. Gather cash and credit. Choose a strategy and read up on it. Do your research so you can choose a favorable property. Get pre-approved for any loans you may need. Shop around. Select a property that can be improved but is in generally good shape that you can buy below its absolute assessed value. Get a home inspection. Provided the building passes muster and the inspection doesn't reveal any major issues, close on the property. Do any cosmetic improvements you want to do, then either flip or rent. If renting, set the rent high enough so that you can put some cash flow aside for maintenance and some aside for future property purchases. If flipping, flip away. And after all of that, see a profit. Let's take a closer look at what all of that means. You'll need to save up enough cash for a down payment, which, depending on your location and the kind of investing you're looking to do, could mean saving anywhere from around $20,000 up to several $100,000. You will probably also need good credit to take out a mortgage to cover the rest of the cost of the property, unless you happen to come from money or have invented the Snuggie. Cash and credit ready, you'll need to pick a strategy. You can't just buy any house and wait for it to be worth millions, and trying to do a little bit of everything can slow you down, especially if you're just getting started. You should pick a niche. This could be commercial real estate, rental properties, flipping houses, anything that appeals to you. Whatever you choose, focus on that. It's easy to get into a rut, a loop where you're trying to learn everything. Choosing one thing will allow you to focus your efforts and grow faster. It's generally advised that you start small, because if you've never managed a building before, there may be a bit of a learning curve. A small multi-family home is a good place to start. Once you've decided on your niche and done your research, you'll want to get pre-approved for a loan, then start looking at properties. Carefully consider where you want to buy. Some neighborhoods will appreciate faster than others. If you look into where job growth is happening and what kind of workers are being added to the local workforce, you can target areas with more growth specifically. That can help you beat the broader housing market in appreciation. In selecting your first property as you enter the real estate investing business, you want to choose something, especially if you're new to the industry. Purchase a property that can be improved in small, doable ways to help increase value. Things like painting, replacing the doors, and fixing up the lawn can add about 10% value to the property without doing major investments or renovations. It's key that you try to purchase a property for less than its market value and that doesn't require major renovations. No serious fixer-uppers your first time out of the gate. This will give you maximum value for minimum investment. That said, if the niche you selected is flipping houses rather than renting, the rules are a little different but basically the same. You still probably want to make this first house something you know you can do. Don't choose somewhere with complex plumbing problems or that needs all of the electrical replaced. but you can swing for the fences a little more if you have the cash in hand to do bigger cosmetic lifts. $30,000 in upgrades can add 6 figures in value. Regardless, be sure to get a home inspection done prior to closing on any deals. Next, if you're flipping houses, you simply repeat the process as often as you can and want. You should be able to either purchase more and more properties or increasingly expensive properties over time. And that constant building of cash and equity is how you, slowly but surely, make your way to your first million. Let's say, on the other hand, your property is a rental property. You want to get it rented as soon as it's ready for market so you can start bringing in a cash flow to help you in paying down any loans you took out to buy the property. There are 4 key ways that dealing in real estate can help you make money, according to Brandon Turner, a former contributor to Forbes. These are cash flow, appreciation, loan paydown, and tax benefits. Cash flow means actual income from your properties, typically rent, whether it's rent from apartments, retail space, or an Airbnb. Different kinds of buildings will require different insurance, licenses, and certifications. Make sure you're covered, whichever you've selected. Your cash flow should be such that it covers the costs of owning the building, a fund for future maintenance and unforeseen costs, and still provides income for your business. Appreciation is when the property rises in value. In the housing market, this has averaged out to typically about 3% per year, with the occasional rises and crashes. So appreciation may just happen naturally. If you've picked neighborhoods well, appreciation could also happen at a higher rate. Say, if Google opens a headquarters nearby, your housing could be in higher demand and be able to command a higher price much faster than the standard rate of inflation and market rise. You can also create forced appreciation. This is those improvements we discussed earlier, whether it's small cosmetic improvements that raise the value about 10%, or larger overhauls that can create significant value increases, like redoing kitchens, replacing windows, retooling the flow of the space, anything along those lines. Forced appreciation is a great tool for increasing value quickly. It's also important, speaking of the housing market, to think about timing when buying and selling. It's impossible to time the markets exactly right, but in general you want to ride the wave. If your plan was to sell in 7 years and, in year 6, property values in your area drop significantly, hold on. The US housing market in the long run has continued to rise over time, so prices will eventually recover. No need to take a loss for the sake of sticking to a plan. Similarly, don't leap on purchasing a property just for the sake of doing so if you can't find anything that matches your criteria. It can be tough to find a place that can be purchased under value and easily improved, but it's much better to wait for a low-risk deal than it is to take a bad one. Loan paydown is when your loan is paid down by the income from your building. Essentially, your tenants are paying off your mortgage for you, so you put down, say, $20,000 on a $100,000 property and they pay $80,000 over the course of however many years, and you end up owning a $100,000 property, not inclusive of any appreciation, for which you essentially paid $20,000. Do this many times over and you can end up with millions in equity for which you paid a fraction of the price. Lastly, there are significant tax benefits to becoming a landlord. Real estate isn't taxed like other businesses. You don't pay self-employment tax and can defer tax payments and use tax write-offs, meaning you have more income to build your business and continue to build your wealth and holdings. Of course, this reduced tax responsibility isn't very popular with a lot of non-property owners, but if you play your cards right, that won't be your problem anymore. The strategies you've chosen will determine if and how you can make each of these benefits happen for you and your business. Ideally, you can even make all of them happen. That's why the rental market is so popular when looking at building wealth. While flipping houses has its benefits, a well-run rental management company can be benefiting annually from all of the above benefits that can help you on your way to becoming a millionaire. Of course, a house flipped here and there or a single rental property, even if paid down for you, is a slow and ineffectual road to becoming a millionaire. To speed up your wealth accrual, you may want to 1. Continue buying more properties over time. You can use the cash flow from your first building to put together a down payment on a second, and so on and so forth. 2. Force appreciation on your existing properties. Just because a building is up and running and has tenants doesn't mean you can't keep making improvements. Many landlords take the opportunity when a tenant leaves and there's a vacancy to make overhauls that increase the rental value, redoing the bathroom, updating the kitchen, changing the flooring or floor plan. You may not have the cash in hand to make these kinds of improvements when you're first starting out, but once you have some savings built up from the property, you can make time to force appreciation. 3. Trade up. If you have a few smaller buildings making decent money, rather than staying the course with them, you can sell them off to get together the down payment for a bigger, more expensive space. Say you have 3 multi-family houses. You could trade up for an apartment building where you can make more cash flow over time. In buying a new building, you want to follow the same basic principles as when you were starting out. Doing this over time is how most real estate moguls ultimately make their millions, collecting larger and larger buildings with more and more cash flow over time. Do all of that, and you may well find yourself on the road to becoming a millionaire through the real estate sector yourself. What do you think? Is real estate the kind of investing that would work for you? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you liked this video and subscribe for more money-making content like this.